All right, Bulldogs, good morning and happy Friday. In this video, I'm sending a message directly to the class of 2020, the senior class. And seniors, I'm going to start with a personal note for me that I have attempted and tried to start a message to you probably no less than 10 times, and I've found it to be rather difficult, to be honest, to find the words that will help you make sense of this, that might make it better in some small way. And to be honest, it's been difficult. In fairness, I'm sure my struggle with finding words probably does not match the feelings that you've had since March 13th and your senior year abruptly came to an end. But nonetheless, I wanted to touch base and connect with you, send you an update, send you some information, remind you of some things. And so that's what I'm going to try to do in the next few minutes. So I hope you'll bear with me. I hope you'll watch, and I hope you'll take this to heart. So today, Friday, is day 14th, day number 14 of non-traditional instruction. For each of you, this is your 13th year of school, and I'm sure you never dreamed you would be doing anything known as NTI or finishing your educational career, setting from your house, submitting your work electronically, and not connecting with your friends, teachers at school, so on and so forth. So I get that that isn't fair. But I also, again, just want to share some things. I want to be honest. I'm not going to give you a message riddled with cliches and quotes. I'm not going to do that to you because it isn't fair. Really today, I will say kind of what inspired me to finally do this today. I know that you guys hopefully remember I met with you in the auditorium back in January, really for the first time officially as your new principal. And I shared with you a video by a gentleman by the name of Inky Johnson. And I follow Inky Johnson pretty closely on Twitter, and I follow his work and I follow his words because I think they're so impactful. But recently, Inky Johnson has done a series of videos, 3 I believe, around the topic of sudden change. And having an athletics background myself, sudden change is something that we used to talk about a lot. And, and whether it be games or life, often things quickly change in a direction that we couldn't have prevented or hoped for. But we have the job, the obligation, the duty, if you will, to respond to that sudden change. And so clearly each of us, each of you, and certainly the class of 2020, you have been dealt a sudden change that nobody could have ever predicted. So really that kind of motivated me to do this. Many of you have reached out about things that are super important to you, close to your heart, that are just important benchmarks in the life of a high school senior who's about to graduate. Things like prom, simple things like receiving your cap and gown, and graduation. And so what I'm not going to do right now is I'm not going to focus on what we can't do, but rather I'm going to focus on what we can do. So where we are with those events, we hope and believe that Kentucky is beginning to progress through phases of reopening. I don't know how closely you watch the governor each day, but it might be worth a Google search to look at that. So as those phases become hopefully a reality for us, our hope is to really look within the parameters of each phase to do some things with you and for you. We have a ton of things to do in regards to just tying up loose ends. Many of you still have personal belongings in the building that you're going to want to get. We need to get cap and gowns to seniors. We need to wrap up some things like fees. We need to get back ROTC uniforms, and so we're looking at all that stuff. We also want to give you a chance to see campus again before you part ways and move on. And so know that you haven't been forgotten, and we are planning an approach to do some of those things, hopefully kind of in a one-stop shop, but we have to do that within regards to the phased approach, and we have to make sure that we are working within the parameters of what's allowed or what's not allowed in that point. Which brings me to graduation. It looks like a large gathering graduation for the class of 2020 is going to be tough to do. And so we are certainly looking at some ways that we could do something virtually to celebrate you, to allow each of you a moment to receive a diploma and to officially become a graduate, a proud graduate of Louisville Mill High School. So again, I know right now that's not definitive. That's not the black and white answer that you want. But again, I just wanted to be open. I wanted to be honest with you. And I wanted to give you a little update of where we are. There's also some other things in the works. You have two fantastic senior sponsors and a great group of class officers. They are working on some things. And we plan to reconnect next week and look at some additional things for the senior class and the class of 2020. I want to change gears back to that conversation we had in the auditorium in January. I asked each class, but I also asked the senior class 2 questions. Some of you giggled at me. At the surface level, maybe they are silly questions. But I asked you question number 1, where are you going? Question number 2, what's your process to get there? And when I asked those questions, many of you, again, giggled. Some of you waited and to figure out, where's he going with this? And I bring those 2 questions back right now because I think they're extremely important. Right now, your life, each of you have been dealt a sudden change, again, like you could have never predicted. Your parents would have never predicted. Your teachers, your coaches, mentors, grandmas, aunts, uncles would have never predicted this. But you're here. And I want to challenge each of you to go back to that first simple question. Where are you going? You attending college in the fall? You attending JCTC, University of Louisville, many other colleges? You going to the workforce? Have you enlisted? And each of those things, when you answer that question for yourself, what's your process to get there? What should you be doing today? I can promise you the answer to that is not sleeping until noon, not staying up all hours of the night, staying on social media 24/7, but doing actions, getting your schoolwork done, maybe being physically active, planning, training, preparing, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. Where you're going in your process to get there doesn't stop, and it shouldn't stop. And I challenge you to do that. So those answers have not changed. The process, unfortunately, will require you to adapt and to look at those things a little bit differently. But knowing each of you and getting to know you in a short amount of time, since December, you got this. You can do it. I leave you with one final challenge. Finish. Many of you have reached out. You're frustrated. NTI work isn't what you signed up for. It's certainly the last thing you want to be doing right now. But you got to finish. Recently, the Jefferson County Board of Education changed your last day of school to May 27th. That's not that far away. About 32 days to be exact. Calendar days, not even school days. So you got to finish. You got to get up. You got to do your schoolwork each day, each week, get it submitted, take care of business, defend your backpack defense if that needs to be done. But finish. Finish strong. Finish in a way that allows you to be proud, to get that diploma in a few weeks, a few months, and move on to that next step in your life. I've said this many times, and I'll say it again, and I mean it. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Many of you have, and I continue to challenge you to do that. Take care of yourselves. Stay well. I assure you this. The class of 2020 is not forgotten. We are thinking about you. We support you, and we love you. Take care and stay well.